DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there, especially yourself. Actually, it definitely moves you to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together into one bundle, one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one show, one masterclass, this daily masterclass. If you did not know, this class comes out every single day. And this is not a podcast, this is a class, okay? This is a masterclass every single day. Do not compare this show to anything else you can get for free on the internet. This is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Welcome to the class. Welcome to the show. This is a show, but it is also a class. So congratulate yourself on being here. You made an excellent decision. Today's topic is why you should not, N-O-T, you should not work with friends and family. Do not do this, okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you, first of all, before we even get into where this episode came from, I mean, some of you have already tried this and you failed. I know you failed at working with friends and family, or maybe you're doing it right now and it's not working. So you're like, I'm glad you did this episode, Dre. And maybe you are right now in the same room or in the same venue. Maybe you're in the car, maybe you're in the room, maybe you're in wherever else you could be with someone who is a friend or family member that you are doing business with, and you know the shit ain't working, and y'all are both looking at each other right now, and one of you's laughing and one of you is uncomfortable. But that's why we need to have this conversation, exactly because of that. First of all, let me quote one of our most prominent urban philosophers, who goes by the name of Christopher Wallace. Some of y'all know him as the notorious B.I.G., passed away in 1997. But he had a quote, and I quote him right now. He said, "This rule is so underrated, keep your family and business completely separated." Now, I personally, that's the close quote, that's the end of the quote by the notorious B.I.G. Anyway, I personally have never done business deals with any family members or friends, even though many times I have been tempted to do so. Not that we were like just about to close the deal and shake hands and start doing stuff, but then many times I'm like, man, me and this person, it'd be great if we could work together because we're already friends, we already have rapport, we already know each other, man, we already hang out, we already have all this shared history. But then I started looking at that individual, I said, no, this motherfucker is not gonna show up. Are they not gonna do their job the way they're supposed to? They don't know, they're not competent enough in doing the thing. The first time I tell them about themselves, they're gonna take it personal. I said, nah, I'm not fucking with this motherfucker. We can still be friends, we can still be family members, but I ain't doing no business with this individual. I have stopped myself many times from just in my mind. This is not even like we started a conversation or nothing. It's just in my mind, just thinking about it. It would be so easy if I could just do business with this family member or this friend because I already know them. It'd be much easier than working with a stranger, a person who's at least a stranger right now. Of course, we ain't gonna be strangers if we start working together, but that's so much work. Now you gotta build a relationship. First of all, you gotta find the individual. Then you gotta figure out they're qualified. Then you gotta make sure that they could do what you need them to do. Then you gotta build a relationship. Then you gotta train them, and they gotta learn you, and you gotta learn them, and all that goddamn work. Why do that when I could just work with this person that I already know? That's the question that many of you asked yourself before you got into the shit that you're in right now. Am I right or am I right? Great. Now today I'm gonna explain to you why you made a mistake. All right, yes, that's what I'm gonna tell you. And I'm gonna tell you how you can, first of all, I'm gonna explain to you why this is a mistake so that you never make this again. I'm also gonna hold a mirror up to your situation so that you can see why this is a mistake, just in case you may be rationalizing this away. Well, it's my friend, it's my best friend, it's my cousin, it's my mom, it's my dad, it's my husband, it's my wife, it's my boyfriend. I'm gonna, first of all, hold a mirror up to your situation so you can see that this is a mistake. And I'm gonna make sure you don't make this mistake again because you're gonna understand this. And then you're gonna need to figure out how to untangle yourself from that situation. Or maybe, actually, what you should do after you listen to this is what you should do. Go get the person who is your family or friend, family member or friend, who you've been working with, and I'm laying everything out. If they're not with you right now, you listen to this whole thing again with them with you. So y'all can both listen to it. So let me be the person who breaks the news to both of y'all that this shit ain't working. So when it's over, when this masterclass is over, you two can look at yourselves and figure out how to dissolve that situation, and y'all can still be family and y'all can still be friends, okay? So let me say all the hard shit, all right? Let me say it, and then y'all just figure that out afterwards. All right, everybody cool with that? Now, personally, as I said, I've never done business with any family members or friends, mostly because I foresaw or just thought in my mind all the reasons that we're going to get into here today. Because I personally, one thing is I like to work with the best people that I can find for a job. And when I'm at work, this is the thing about me. I mean, this show is called Work on Your Game. I wrote a book called Work on Your Game. If you don't own it, get it at workonyourgamebook.com. My company is called Work on Your Game. So when I'm at work, I'm at work. All right, work, all capital letters, W-O-R-K. And I don't want any other considerations involved besides the fact that I and whoever is around, we're working. All right, and that's one main reason why I do not fuck with family or friends when it comes to doing business. Let's get into it so you can understand exactly what I mean. Point number one. Topic once again is why to not work with friends and family. That should actually be why to never work with friends and family. I'll probably change it. That'll probably be the title. Point number one. When you work with family and friends, let me tell you something. Every single thing that occurs is personal. None of it is business. Let me say that again. For those who ain't listening. When you work with family and friends, everything is personal. None of it is business. Even though, people say, y'all know the saying, like business is never personal, business before pleasure, things like that. It's not personal as business. And people have probably said that to you when you took something personal. Maybe you tried to say that to somebody you know when they took something personal, when y'all were working together. Listen, if you already had a relationship with someone before y'all started doing business together, every single thing that occurs between you and that person is personal. It is not business. It is only business between two individuals when the relationship started as business. If the relationship started as personal, it will always be personal. If the relationship starts as business, it will always be business. Are there some rare exceptions on people who started with a personal relationship, got into business, maybe it didn't work out and they were still able to stay cool personally? Yes, there are some rare exceptions. You are not a rare exception, okay? You are the rule. Do not think that you can go against the grain and get away with it. All right, you may lose your relationship, you may lose your business, you probably lose both in the process of trying to go against the grain. Don't do it. All right, and don't say nobody didn't tell you. Friends and family, ladies and gentlemen, they know you as what? Their friend or their family. They do not know you as the business partner. They do not know you as their employee. They do not know you as their supervisor or their boss or their 50-50 partner. They don't know you as that. They know you as their friend or their family member. So nothing that occurs between you and that person is quote unquote just business. Never is, never will be. Even if you or them both say that it's just business, it ain't just business. And while it is possible that you can work with someone and it will be straight business, with a person who is not a family member or a friend, it's guaranteed that it will be just business at first, right? At least. So this potential problem is eliminated. So that's the whole point that I'm making here. You can work with someone and it won't be taken personal simply because the person that you're dealing with doesn't know you personally. And guess what? That means you need to go outside of your friends and outside of your family to find the most competent, most qualified person to actually help you do what you want to do. And we're going to get into why that's probably not somebody who's in your family. It's probably not somebody who's your friend. It's probably not the person that you sleep with every night. That's probably not the most qualified person to help you get to where you want to get to business-wise. Because if they were, guess what? Y'all be business partners instead of lovers, instead of cousins, instead of mom and dad. This is just the way. Again, are there some exceptions to this? Yes, there are. Do not fool yourself into thinking that you are the exception. All right, I would suggest that you follow the rules. I give them to you here every single day. Nothing that occurs between people with a personal relationship will ever be, quote, just business, close quote. All right, don't be stupid to think that that's going to be you. All right, no, it won't. Any person that everything between you and them is going to be straight business, that's a person who you don't know personally. That's the reason why it's straight business, okay? That's guaranteed to be just business because they don't have a personal relationship to refer to. So that potential problem is completely eliminated. And that's why it would be really, really smart for you to do business with people who have earned their position working with you, earned it through their qualifications, through a recommendation from a trusted business source, earned their position through, they just showed you what they can do. Maybe they interned or did something and proved that they can actually do the job that needs to be done, not because they're your friend, not because you like hanging out with them, not because you think they're physically attractive, not because you live next door to them, not because your mom told you need that Ray needs a job, not any of that bullshit. Okay, if you're serious about your business, you need to find other people who are serious about your business. Your cousin or your your husband or your girlfriend or your daughter or your son, they might not be as serious about your business as you are. You would be, if they are, make them prove that they're qualified. And if they can't or don't want to prove that they're qualified, newsflash, they ain't qualified. All right, and that person will always take everything personally. If you want to do actual straight up business, you need to deal with actual straight up business people. And different individuals can be business people or they can be personal friends and family based on the situation that they're in. So that's all relative. So if I'm dealing with somebody in my family, whatever goes on between me and that person is personal. If I'm dealing with somebody that I don't know and we're dealing with money and things like that, then what me and that person do is business. So I could be a personal contact to a person. I could be a business contact to a person, depending on the context in which me and that person know each other. How do we know each other? How do we come together? Why are we having this conversation? That context can change whether it's business or personal, the way that I present myself. And it's also the exact same thing for you. Everybody got point number one. Everything's personal. Point number two, today's topic, why to never work with friends and family, at least when you have a choice. Number two, your friends and family drag their feet because they can get away with it, or at least they think they can get away with it. I know a lot of business people, business owners, people who are bosses / managers, people in position of authority where they can make decisions as far as giving people opportunities, giving people jobs, things like that, who have made the mistake of putting their friends and or family on, putting them on in a position to where they got a job, they got an opportunity, and that friend or family member is the worst worker in the venue. They're the worst worker at the company. They're the least diligent. They show up the latest. They leave the earliest. They are the least efficient. They don't get any work done. They're not showing up. If you had to fire the worst person, they'd be the one you fire, your friend or family member. And why is that? Is that just some random happenstance? No, it's because that motherfucker was never qualified in the first place and your dumbass made the mistake of hiring them. Friends and family will drag their feet because they can, because they know you. Or at least they think they can drag their feet because they know you, right? That's why I said in point number one, it is never just business, it is always personal. If I hire a friend or family member and they're not doing their job, I couldn't even be mad at them. If let's say I brought somebody on to work for me, and they're a friend or family, and then they're not doing it. I can't be mad at that person. You know why? Because I should have known that before I even hired their bum ass, that they wasn't going to do their job. Because if they were good enough, and they were good enough to do the job, you know where they would have been? They would have already had a job. Or they wouldn't have been asking me for one. They already would have been doing the shit that I hired them for, and they were actually qualified to do it. What they waiting for me to give them a job for? Doesn't that just make sense? Now, yes, my friend or family member couldn't be, as I just said, I should have known this before I hired their bum ass. Yes, my friend or family member can be a bum ass motherfucker as far as business goes. Now, that doesn't mean I don't love them. Doesn't mean we not still blood. Doesn't mean we ain't still cool. Doesn't mean I won't still say what's up to you, hang out with you and all that. But listen, I wouldn't make this mistake in the first place. So for you, this is for y'all, okay? It doesn't mean that you can't still be cool with the person and all of that, but they can be a bum. A person can be a bum, and again, it's relative. It depends on where you're at. All right, you put me on a basketball court, I'm pretty competent. You put me on a tennis court, I'm a bum. Okay, so you could be a bum in one place and be a superstar in another place. Your friend or your family member may be a superstar when you see them at Thanksgiving dinner and everybody's just sitting around the couches and talking shit. But you bring them into your business and ask them to run the register, they may be a complete imbecile. All right, you understand? So they're bum ass. They're a bum when they're in your business, but they're cool when they're at grandma's house. You understand? So you got to understand where people are in certain places. A fish is great in water, but they ain't such an expert. You put them on the sand. Everybody understand what I'm saying here? So you got to know who you're dealing with, and you got to know how they're going to deal in different environments. Everybody's not a star everywhere. Nobody's a star in every environment. So you got to put people where they belong. A person who you hired off the street is not going to drag their feet or be lazy in doing their job for one inherent reason, because they know that they ain't got no relationship with you to fall back on or to hide behind if they were dragging their feet and not doing their job. They know if they don't perform and they're not doing their job and they're not producing results and they keep fucking up, they know what's going to happen. They're going to get fired. You know what's going to happen. You're going to fire them. Why? Because you have no relationship with them that you risk losing by getting rid of some person that you hired off the street. You hired them off of Indeed.com or a LinkedIn job posting, and they're not doing their job. You just get rid of them. All right, nothing personal for you, nothing personal for them. They don't know you, you don't know them. It's over. Now, a person that you've known your whole life, your cousin, They come in dragging their feet, you get rid of them. Now you got to deal with your aunt, your uncle, your mom, your grandmom, your other cousins. Everybody's mad at you for firing that bum ass motherfucker, but you shouldn't have hired them in the first place. You caused the very problem that you now have. Friends and family will drag their feet and be lazy because they can afford to do so, or at least they will think they can, sometimes. Now again, this is a problem that you can eliminate before it even occurs. So you gotta be disciplined enough to make sure you are taking in and emotionally understanding everything that I'm saying here today. Because I'm not actually telling you to do anything. If you haven't made this mistake yet, I'm just indoctrinating you to make sure you are further reinforced to not make this mistake. Point number 3, the topic once again is why to never hire friends or family. Number 3 reason, there's a 99% probability that your friend or family member is not the most qualified person for the position at which they are working. 99% chance the person that is your friend or family member who's working to register at your pizza shop, or they are handling the emails for your online merchandise store, they are probably not the most qualified person that could be working there, even for whatever you're paying them. All right, you're paying them $1 an hour. There's somebody that can do that job better for $1. You're paying them $100,000 a year. There's someone who could do that job better for $100,000 a year than your friend or family member. How is that? Because you didn't do it. You didn't canvas the environment to find the best person. You just picked the most convenient person. When you make decisions out of convenience, life is going to be hard on you. When you make decisions diligently, life will be much easier on you. If all the candidates in the world wanted to work for you, be honest. Is your cousin really going to be the best person you could hire? Is your sister really the best accountant you could hire? Of all the accountants in the world, is your sister really the best accountant out there? Really? Like you gonna look me in my face and tell me that your sister is the best accountant you could possibly hire? Is your mom or dad actually an agent or a manager? Are you about to get drafted to the NFL? Is your dad an agent? All right, does your dad have any kind of license? Has your dad taken any law classes? Is he actually qualified to be your agent? Aside from the fact that he's your father and you trust him, is he qualified in any other way? Yeah, I know he's your father. I know you trust him. But there's other people you can trust who are smarter than your dad, all right, smarter than your mom, at least, again, in that particular field. Your dad may be a fish in the auto mechanic shop, but is he a fish? You put him in front of some NFL lawyers? Maybe not. Assuming that your mom isn't Kris Jenner, she's probably not the best manager for you. Again, now, Kris Jenner is a great example. She's somebody's mom, and she's a damn good manager. She gets things done. I will hire Kris Jenner to be my manager right now, today. Okay, but I ain't got no personal relationship with her, so it would be straight up business. But for her daughters, who she helped put on, she did a damn good job. All right, so if your mom ain't Kris Jenner, all right, that ain't the role. That ain't the way you should go. You need to go find you a Kris Jenner who ain't your mom. If your friend or your family member is the most qualified person out there for the job that you're hiring for, let me tell you how you'll know. This is a simple litmus test, okay? So I want you to look at, think about the person that you have working for you right now, who is your friend or family member, and you have rationalized somehow in your mind that this person is the most qualified person you could have hired for the job. Let me tell you how you will know if that's accurate or not. Here it is. They would already have that job before you hired them. So if you have a friend or family member working for you right now, let me ask you this question. Actually, ask yourself this question. Did that motherfucker have that job already before you hired them for that job? Because if they were good enough, somebody else would have hired them too. Has anybody offered to hire them away from you while you've been having them work for you? Has anybody tried to hire cousin Bobo away from you while they've been working for you for the last 2 years? No, that's probably because cousin Bobo ain't shit. Has anybody tried to hire your dad to be their agent after your dad was your agent? No, it's probably because your dad is not an agent. All right. All right. Has anybody tried to make your mom their manager? Like Kris Jenner is a great manager. Kris Jenner is somebody that could be my manager. I hire her right now to be my manager. Now, would your mom, is she Kris Jenner? Or has anybody tried to hire her? to be their manager after they saw the work that she did for you? If the answer is no, or you got to think about it, then that means she ain't qualified to be your manager, let alone anybody else's manager. If your friend or family member is qualified to do the work for you, they would either already be doing it, or once they get on doing it for you, they're so good that somebody else is going to offer them an opportunity to do the exact same thing and try to lure them away from you by offering them a better opportunity, more money, more whatever, because they're so damn good at the job. If nobody else is offering them a job, it's probably because they ain't that good. It's the way it works, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you something that one of my mentors told me when I first got into the professional speaking business. He said, Dre, the way that you'll know that you're good when you give a speech is not because people clap for you when you get off the stage. And generally speaking, people are polite. They're going to clap for you. Even if you're mediocre, they're going to clap. It's not because when you get off the stage, everybody lines up to shake your hand. People are going to want to shake your hand just because of the fact that they're in the audience and you're on the stage. You're a star, at least in that venue, at least for that hour or so, you're a star. They're going to want to shake your hand. The way that you'll know you're a star is when you get done giving one speech, people offer you opportunities to give another speech. That's how you know you're good. When you're getting repeat business, people want you to do the same thing for them that you just did for this place that you're at right now. If that's not happening, it's probably because you are not that good. You play sports, whatever team you're on, you out there playing and doing your thing, and nobody's coming up to you and saying, yo, no, where you playing next year? Or who you playing for in this? Or yo, you heard about this tournament, you got a team? Or yo, you want to run with us in the next league next summer? Or they'll say, yo, give me your number because whenever you working out, I want to come work out with you. Or give me your number because next year when they had this league, I want you to run with our team instead of running with that team. If you are not being offered opportunities to do the same thing you're doing now for someone else because they see how good you are at it, you may not be that good at it. Now, you could use that personally, and you could also use it as a litmus test to measure the individuals around you, specifically your friends and family members who you have rationalized into believing they are good enough for the job that they have when they're probably not. Again, most moms ain't Kris Jenner. If your friend and family members are most qualified, they already had a gig, okay? They would have a gig from people who don't have a personal relationship with them because they would see it as straight up business, straight up as a business decision, this person's qualified. If ain't nobody saying that, they're telling you a whole lot. All right, they're saying a mouthful by saying nothing. Simple, ain't it? Let's recap today's class, which is why you should never, ever, Chris Tucker voice, ever hire friends and family. Notorious B.I.G. said, quote, "This rule is so underrated. Keep your family and business completely separated." Close quote. Point number one. Everything is personal. None of it is business when you hire friends and family. They know you as friends and family, not as a business partner, not as an employee or a boss or a supervisor. So nothing that occurs between you and them is, quote, just business, close quote. Even if you or them both say it's just business, it never is, and you have probably already experienced this. While it's possible you can work with someone and have it be straight business, that'll be a person with whom there is no personal relationship, so there ain't no possibility of them taking anything personal because everything's business. Point number two, your friends will drag their feet because they can get away with it, or at least they will think that they can. If I hire a friend or family member and they're not doing their job, I can't be mad at them because it was my fault for hiring their bum ass in the first place. And yes, my friend can be a bum ass motherfucker as far as business goes. They could be great as a personal friend. They could be a bum as far as business goes. The same way that a fish can be great inside the ocean and they're a bum, you lay them out on the sand or lay them out on the sidewalk. Doesn't mean I don't still love that individual. A person who you hired off the street knows they can't afford to drag their feet or be lazy or continue fucking up because they know what's going to happen. With a friend, they may think they can get away with it. Point number three, there's a 99% probability that your friend or family member is not the most qualified individual that you could have hired, because if all the candidates in the world for that job all made themselves available, there is a very, very, very low possibility that your friend or family member will be the most qualified person you could find, even at the amount of money that you want to spend or whatever it is you're asking for. It is very, very low, the chances of that happening. Again, most moms ain't Kris Jenner. Okay, so they got lucky. The Kardashians got lucky that they had a friend or family member who could do a job for them and is actually competent. You ain't that lucky, okay? Most of us don't find 4-leaf clovers. All right, so assuming your mom ain't Kris Jenner, you can get a better manager. All right, your dad is not the best agent you could have. Your sister is not the best accountant you could have. Your cousin Ray Ray is not the best cook for your pizza shop, all right? If your friend or your family member is the most qualified person, here's how you'll know. They will already have the job that you're asking them to do, or once they start doing it, other people will start asking them to do that same job for them because they are that damn good. So if one of the Kardashians is listening to this right now, keep the manager that you got, because I'm telling you right now, I would hire your mom for that job. But the rest of you, who your mom ain't getting asked to do that job for nobody else, all right, you need to fire your mom. Let her be your mom, but then you go fire somebody who is actually qualified to do business for you. Work on your game. Dre all day.